Hi everyone, it's Rio Cloud Sync. In today's session, we'll look at what's new in Microsoft Entra ID. I'm currently presented the Microsoft Entra Admin Console. I've also got an additional tab open for what's new in Entra ID, which resides in the Microsoft documentation. Microsoft have recently announced the general availability of the new Microsoft Entra homepage. This is the change feature. This provides us a redesign of the Microsoft Entra Admin Console, allows us to learn more about the product suite, the service portfolio, as well as the taxonomy. We're also able to identify opportunities to maximize feature value and stay up to date with the latest announcements and also the new features announced. You can see the new experience with an entra.microsoft.com. The URL hasn't changed. The experience has improved. So if I was to navigate back to Microsoft Entra ID and ask to select Home, I'm already presented the home page. This will give me a good indicative of the directory I'm currently managing. I'm able to press Learn More, which will take me to relevant collateral regarding Entra ID, how we can make the most of the identity and access management solution. I can scroll down and there's plenty of information as well as videos. It also outlines and highlights the different services within Microsoft Entra. We've also got some details around the return of investment which Entra delivers. If I come out of there and I scroll down slightly more, we can learn more about the products itself. We can do a deep dive into the services, what it is and how we can configure the services, and also the associated prerequisites, i.e. licensing. On the right hand side we've got the billing pane, which shows us our purchase licenses, i.e. per user, per head, maybe per month or an annual commit, as well as the Microsoft Azure subscriptions we have associated with this directory. We have some widgets here in terms of being able to manage the licenses, and this will take us to our billing pane on the left hand side, as well as the subscriptions, and this will navigate to the Azure subscription pane. We can scroll down slightly more where we've got setup guides. For example, it will provide us a document on how to set up passwordless authentication, i.e. the likes of Windows Hello for Business or FIDO2. A document on how to sync our users from our on-premise Active Directory to Microsoft Cloud using Entra Connect. And we can view all the guides and all the related collateral through this link. There's plenty of information to go off, as well as video tutorials and the associated tech community. So if I go back to Home, scroll down more, we've got a preview hub, as well as quick navigation to the tenant overview pane, and where we may need to enable security defaults if we're not using the likes of conditional access. The users pane, be able to create, manage users, as well as B2B collaboration. We can create Microsoft 365 security groups. We should all be aware now that legacy per user is being deprecated at the tail end of 2024. Therefore, we need to move everything to the new authentication methods blade. There's plenty of options here to be able to navigate to the different services. We've got a high-level overview on our Identity Secure Score, which very much sits in coexistence with Defender Secure Score, but this is focused on identity as we're moving to more of an identity-centric way of managing our estate. There's some feature highlights, as well as blogs and announcements. So that's the new and improved Entra homepage. On to the next announcement for January 2024, which is cross-tenant manager synchronization. So if you do have a cross-tenant synchronization between a source tenancy and a destination tenancy, maybe you've got a organization where you have separate business units and separate tenancies, and you need that cross-tenancy synchronization for seamless communication across both paths. Well, you can now sync an additional attribute, which is the manager attribute, across tenants. Let's have a look at this and how we can conduct this synchronization. So if we access the Microsoft Entra
console, and on the left hand side we scroll down and we scroll down to cross-tenant access settings. We can see our tenant-to-tenant setup between our source and destination tenant. We then also want to select cross-tenant synchronization. This is where our cross-tenant synchronization engine is stored. We can select configurations, and it will give us a bit of a brief on our connector between source and destination. We can click into the tenant connector, and we've got a few options in terms of starting the provisioning, stopping the provision, and also restarting the provisioning. We're also able to provision on demand, and we can click provisioning, and we can expand mappings. We're able to look at our custom mapping between source and destination. And you can now see there's an additional option for manager. So the manager attribute is now there, and we're able to edit it, we're able to remove it from our synchronization engine, and the benefit is we're now able to use it. People are now able to see the hierarchy of users within both source and destination tenant. So in terms of keynotes regarding the cross-tenant synchronization, well, commercial cloud is only supported. Government is not supported at the moment. When we update the manager attribute, this will update on an incremental cycle. For existing users, you would need to sync on demand or restart the sync service. So if we were to go back one and click on the sync engine, we'll either need to restart the provisioning engine to do a resync, just like we do with Entra Connect or we do a Delta synchronization, or we can provision on demand for the particular users we're updating the attribute on behalf of. If the manager attribute is removed from the user's profile on the source tenant, that won't update in the the destination tenant. That's something to bear in mind. There are a few more updates for January 2024. So if we were to scroll down, you've got the general availability for Defender for Office alerts and identity protection. So this service category is identity protection. The suspicious sending patterns risk detection type is discovered using information provided by Microsoft Defender or MDO. This alert is generated when someone in your organization has sent a suspicious email and is either at risk of being restricted from sending email or has already been restricted from sending mail. This detection moves users to the medium risk and only fires in organizations that have deployed MDO. So it's just an additional risk factor which Microsoft is taking into account. Other than that, we've got the new Microsoft Entra recommendation to migrate off of MFA server. Okay, so if you're not using the already authentication methods policy, you need to start looking at migrating away from MFA server. There is a deprecation date, which is September the 30th, 2024. They've released a new recommendation in the admin console for customers to move off the MFA server to new authentication methods policy. MFA server will be retired on the date, and any customers with MFA server activity in the last 7 days will see a recommendation that includes details about their current usage and steps on how to move to the new new service pane. There is also new provision connectors in Microsoft Entra Application Gallery, which Microsoft added to the application gallery to provide provisioning support. You can now automate creation and also updating and deletion of user accounts with these newly integrated apps, some of which are Screen Steps and Wiggle Desk and Personify. If I scroll down slightly more, the last and final update for January 2024 is federated apps available in Microsoft Entra Application Gallery. And you can see some of these below. They've added around 10 new applications into the application gallery, all with federation support. And there's a whole load of collateral there for you to reference. And that's just a quick update on what's new in Entra ID. Apologies for the lack of videos in the last 10 to so days. I've been very busy in my personal life and work. Thank you very much. Any questions, just please do let me know. Thank you.